The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise, I'll introduce you to some interesting people from hometown businesses with interesting stories to tell. Like Doctor Gefaller from Soft Wave Buffalo with a unique treatment to alleviate your pain. The president of WECK on Buffalo talks dollars and cents on how his local institution can help you and your family. Then Bob White Sr. and Jr. show us how their insurance agency can get you the best policy for whatever you need for less. All on this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joe Chili, weekday morning, 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. With us today in the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise, we have Dr. Ronald Gefaller from Soft Wave Buffalo. Doctor, how you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you here today. To start off with, for those people that don't realize, can you give us an idea of what soft wave is and how it differs from like shockwave or things like this?
Well, actually, they're all lumped together in the same umbrella of shockwave therapy. What makes soft wave so much more special is that it doesn't hurt. When you're treating a person, when you have normal shockwave therapy, it hurts every spot that you're at. And with my device, I can use it diagnostically to go ahead and see exactly where the areas of pain are and actually areas of damage. It only reacts to inflammation, damage, scar tissue. All right, so I'm not treating everything. I'm only treating the areas that really need to get treated.
And, I think sometimes we think that this is great for athletes, but it's great for seniors or the regular individuals too, right?
Certainly. It's being used by dozens of professional sports teams, but I think the main benefit is for people with arthritis. Okay, arthritis is a chronic degenerative inflammatory disease. It's really debilitating. People with arthritic knees, shoulders, hands. What we can do with this is actually calm down the arthritis, get the blood circulation working again, and actually have that area heal up better than what it was before.
How soon do patients actually start noticing improvement?
That's the most amazing thing about this. About 90% of our patients feel a substantial change right away after the first trial treatment. They get either a change of mobility or a change in soreness and pain, or a lot of times both. Very few people don't get that change.
Do you give people an idea in advance, your patients, about generally how long it's going to take? Can you give them a short amount and then a long amount of time?
Sure. There's a range, and obviously everybody's different. Everybody has different problems, long duration, amount of damage. Age is a factor. Your general health is a factor. But we've had patients, that are, in their 80s respond in 2 or 3 visits, and we've had patients that, just take a little bit longer. The company says the average for most people is about 8 to 10 visits for most orthopedic injuries, but we try to get things done a lot faster in the office. We use a stronger dose, and we basically try to go ahead and push the condition along faster. I don't want people in my office any more than they actually have to be.
Any side effects that people should worry about?
The FDA says it's negligible. I mean, you can get maybe a little bit of redness in the skin, maybe some soreness afterwards, but it's all a temporary thing.
What about the length of treatment? Now, are the results long-lasting, or do you have to come back for subsequent treatments?
Very few people do we have to do any kind of touch-up work, and usually those people are the ones that are involved in sports activities or they have another injury and they get themselves hurt. The vast majority of my patients, once you go through a course of care and things are calmed down and healed up, they stay the way they are. They don't go ahead and fall apart again. I have one patient from 6 years ago. She had a bone-and-bone knee. And it was going to go ahead and have knee surgery. We were able to go ahead, and she didn't want to have surgery because the after effects of surgery aren't always good. It's about 30% of the patients still have chronic pain, and it takes almost 2 years to go ahead and fully recover from that. So we did a course of 8 visits with her. we were able to go ahead and get her pain-free, get her up and walking, and we had to do one touch-up visit about a year afterwards. And this is 6 years ago, and I've seen her for other types of conditions, back-related conditions, and we haven't had to touch her knee in that length of time. It's been wonderful.
Now, if somebody knows what they did that specifically injured them, and if it's something that they do on a regular basis, do you tell them not to do it anymore, or is it? I mean, you know,
it's like, Doc, it hurts when I do this. Don't do that anymore.
Don't do that. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Well, normally what we try to go ahead and do, we try to get them in a situation where hopefully they do things better and smarter, safer than what they were doing before, and try to teach them how to condition themselves to not have this thing happen again. But once you get that area more under control, you know, it's like fixing your car. I mean, you can drive it into another tree and wreck it again, okay? But if you're being a little smarter and conscientious, normally you can avoid all those injuries and really keep it down to a bare minimum or nothing, you know, if you're safe.
When you're talking about patients, what kind of an age range are you talking about here?
I've been treating people anywhere between their early teens. I have a lot of gymnasts I work with, and my oldest patient now has been 93 years old. And actually, that one's interesting because he had an injury to one of his muscles in his rear end that's been there for 50 years. And we're able to go ahead and get that under control again.
A muscle in his rear end,
A muscle in his rear end, yes. He had a torn muscle, and he's been to all sorts of doctors over the course of all these years, and he was able to go ahead and recover. He's about 95% better, he says.
You know, I have friends that are a pain in my backside that I could probably get treated for too. Is it safe?
Extremely safe. It is the safest thing you can go ahead and do. There's no side effects, there's no tissue damage, no injuries associated with this at all, okay? And actually the nice thing about it too is that you can treat areas that you normally can't touch with other types of therapies. It has a 6-inch penetration, okay? It goes that deep into your body, it can have an effect on that. It actually goes right through the bone tissue, so you can infect inflammation inside the bones, you can infect muscle and tendon injuries that you normally wouldn't be able to reach with any type of therapy.
Okay, say for instance I came in for treatment, I'm a patient. What about downtime?
Well, that's the other really great thing about this. There is no downtime associated with this, okay? You don't have to go ahead and the day of treatment, we advise people to drink a lot more water and try to take it easy that day, okay? But after that, you can go back to your normal routine and work around whatever you want to go ahead and work around. You know, our athletes love it because they can go right back to doing what they're doing. Our older patients, they don't have to give things up. They can just keep on progressing further and do more. And that's the whole objective here, is to have them be able to do more and enjoy life more without having to have that injury get in the way.
All right, Dr. Gefaller, thank you very much. We appreciate it. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Softwave Buffalo with offices in Williamsville and Orchard Park by calling 716-667-6800 or go to softwavebuffalo.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Softwave Buffalo. Don't forget to join all your favorite personalities, JP, Roger Christian, Bob B.O., and me, classic oldies from the 60s and 70s. We're right there on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chili, weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Michael Noah, who is the president of Bank on Buffalo. Michael, how are you?
Good, Joe. Thanks for having me today.
Glad to have, glad to have you here. Bank on Buffalo. You know, it seems like you guys have been around forever, but it's been, what, 8, 9 years, something like that?
Yeah, we're actually going to be approaching our 10th year. Next year will be our 10th year in Buffalo, and time has really flown if you think of it that way, because it seems like just yesterday we were a startup bank in the Buffalo market, and I remember folks coming up and asking us, you know, what kind of a bank are you? What can you do for us? And since day one, we've been a full service bank for the Buffalo market, but coming up on 10 years in 2026.
You know, it's a local bank, but it's got a bigger feel. It feels like a regional bank, and I think some of it is because of all the special things that you do, the things that you do that are kind of out of the box. I mean, like you have, it's like a bank on wheels, right?
Yeah, we have a bank on wheels, which is really something we're proud of. When we talk about a community bank, that's always what we've been focused on. And the bank on wheels does just that. We've got 4 locations we visit every single week, 3 in Buffalo, we have 1 in Niagara Falls. And it truly is a bank on wheels. It's a mobile bank where you can do all of your banking right then and there. You can access our ATM, you can sit with one of our associates and open up an account, you can pay your mortgage. Anything you do at one of our brick and mortars, you can do right at our bank on wheels. Wheels. So for us to be able to help the underserved communities and places where they're bank deserts, it's really important for us to have that ability to do so.
Bank deserts. That's an interesting term. How do you know where the Bank on Wheels is going to be?
Go right to our website, www.bankonbuffalo.bank, and you can see the schedule on there on a weekly basis. It's the same place every single week, just a different location Monday through Friday.
What about, many of us use ATMs. I mean, not that we don't use the drive-through teller every once in a while, but ATMs are very convenient. Tell us what makes your ATMs different? They're like a smart ATM? Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, great question. We are very proud of the technology that our ETMs have, and we call them ETMs, Joe. You've got an automated teller machine. Everyone understands how an ATM works. The ATM, you go in and you take out money 24/7. But our enhanced teller machines do so much more. You can go visit them. You can take money out whenever you wish. You can also deposit money whenever you like too. But if you touch the screen, you'll get a live representative. You get a live local representative that's going to be likely in our clearance office. That individual can help you with any of your banking needs. So if it's too busy in the lobby, or if we're not open in the lobby, if you're going through the drive-up or in our vestibule, you can touch one of these screens, get connected to an agent, and you can handle all of your banking right then and there. And the best part about it is the hours. We've listened to our clients, and we know how busy people are. People are on the go. They're busy with work. They can't always get to the bank during limited banking hours. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, you can visit one of our ATMs, touch the screen, get connected to an agent, and handle your banking on your terms versus our terms.
Do you ever get a question? I've always wanted to ask this from somebody that says, it bugs me that I can only get like increments of 20, like 20, 40, 60, 100, whatever the case may be. Maybe I just want $30.
Yep.
How do you make a determination about that, and why is that?
Well, our ETMs have that capability, which is great. So you can actually cash it down in those instances on your own within $5 increments. But if you do touch the screen and speak to someone, you can cash a check or go to a penny in that front. So in that case, you can literally go to any denomination you want, but conventionally through the ETM, you can even go down to the $5 denomination.
Good, because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to one of the ETMs after I leave today. I'm going to press the screen and I go, why did they do away with the penny? Why is the sky blue, right? What about WOW checking? Now, I heard a little bit about this. Maybe you can explain to our viewers a little bit more about it.
Yeah, again, WOW checking to us is, again, listening to our customers and what's important to them. And if we're going to ask you to entrust us with your core checking account, which we do, if you bring that to us, we're going to bring you a lot more. And we ask a couple things out of it. If you bring us your core account, we'd hope you'd have a direct deposit in there every month. We'd hope that you have electronic statements. We can deliver those to you electronically. You can access them through your phone or through the computer. And we ask that you have 12 debit card transactions per month when you use the account. Go purchase coffee, or go make a purchase at a grocery store. If you do those three things, Joe, you're going to earn interest on that. So to bank with us, we're going to pay you 4.75% interest to keep your money with us. It's up to $100,000 as well. So it is a meaningful amount. It's an incredible rate, and it's to help our customers more.
Do people, are checking accounts becoming a thing of the past, I guess?
Another good question. Checking accounts to us, it's really always been a core bank account that we like to have our clients work towards, because we see it as a way for them to transact their daily operations that way. We see it as a vehicle where they can couple that with a savings account and work towards savings and growing generational wealth in that sense. So the checking account is a base account that we love our clients to have, because it's something where they can handle their affairs on a day in, day out basis and cover their entire family that way.
We see the interest rates are coming down. It's always a very small amount. Is it going to make a difference to us as investors or consumers?
Again, in this rate, the Fed just did lower rates most recently, and we'll have to wait to see what happens in the future. But banks will react accordingly when rates are moving up and down. They've been up for the last couple of years, but starting to creep their way back down. So again, it's a time to keep an eye on where you're at. Take a look at your savings accounts. Take a look at what you're earning out there, and have a conversation with your banker to see what else they can do for you.
We only have a minute left, but what do you do for veterans?
Veterans are an important cause for us in our bank. We have an account we call the At Ease account. For veterans that have served our military and continue to serve our military, it's an important piece for us. So for folks that are on the move a lot, in a lot of cases they're going to be traveling, and we have an account that we can give them where they can not only earn interest on that account, but they can also utilize their funds and take money out of an ATM fee-free anywhere, not only in the country but in the world. In addition, they can also get statements sent to them monthly anywhere throughout the country and the world as well. We're not going to charge them for that because we know it's important to them and something that they need. The last piece on that I would say is you're out and about and you're away from your family at times, and we want to give you the ability to manage your credit monitoring. So we give them a free credit monitoring service as well, where they can manage and make sure that they're in good shape with respect to their credit appetite that they have throughout and everything they're doing. So important factors for us and folks within the veteran community.
All right, Michael Lohan, president of Bank on Buffalo. Thank you very much.
Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Bank on Buffalo. You can find out more at this website, bankonbuffalo.bank, or by phone at 844-510-0819. And don't forget to join me weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m., the Joe and TJ Show, on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK.
Hi, I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Join us today on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise is Bob White Sr. and Bob White Jr.
Hello, Joe.
You can guess which one is which, right?
Thanks for having us.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good. When I talk about insurance and relationships, and I'm a good guy to do it because you handle my insurance. So, I get this. I understand what it's all about because I don't understand insurance. I don't pretend that I do. And things change. It's like a fluid thing. It's not like all the rules are the same year after year after year. So relationships are a big thing that you guys work toward, right?
Yeah. As some of the people know, I was a former school teacher. So in theory, I taught students. Now we educate adults because it is a really tough conversation to have, but we break it down. And we go from there. We worry about coverages. And we worry about the relationship, so one's comfortable in calling our office.
It's weird because if I get something in the mail, you're good at explaining, but I'll look and it'll say 100,000, 300,000, or I'll see uninsured motorists, or I'll look at all this kind of stuff, and to me, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. So I have to call and ask, and you've never made me feel foolish when I call to ask, but do you get this question for people often?
We do. We want to counsel, we want to educate you on the coverages, what you have, so if a claim occurs, you're made whole again. There's no holes in coverage, and sometimes people that have an older policy are outdated, and you get hurt come a claim because you don't have that coverage, you didn't know you had it, or you didn't have enough.
What happens when, for instance, a lot of people lease cars nowadays, and is there a difference in insurance coverage between leasing and buying?
Leasing created coverages that back then were adequate. Now they're outdated. There's not enough coverage there. It meets the lease agreement, but it doesn't meet what happens upon an accident with all the lawsuits and all the money that is being sued. So we take it and say that's sort of an outdated policy, and we worry about the right coverages at a competitive price. So you may come to me with that outdated 10-year-old policy that still shows the lease amount. We're going to revise you and bring you up to date, but educate you on why. Many times we're putting money back in your pocket. You're not paying more money for it, but you're also gaining the relationship in an office with us. Most of the peer group now, what's going on, those are agents that are retiring out. And if you're with one of those big three that are on TV all the time, most of those senior type of an agent has left or sold. Now that client calling in is going to deal with somebody brand new, maybe not as experienced, and keep in mind, they only have one company that agent can handle. With us, they're getting 20, 25 companies. And Joe, as you know, not just because you're a client of mine this way, clients get our cell phone number. We don't want them gambling, calling the carrier direct and putting in a claim. Chat with us. Let us counsel you and guide you.
The other thing is when I call Bob White, I know I'm going to talk to Bob White. Bob White is a person. He's not, just the umbrella name of an agency. And that can be a problem or confusing with people nowadays, right?
Sure.
Today's day and age, there are a lot of mom and pop shops, per se, that are getting bought up by a bigger name of an agency. And it's not truly a person, it's a corporation. So we ask you to call us and see how it goes on our end. We have the same people, know you by name, they know your family, we're in your backyard. There's no 1-800 number. You know, we're here for you on the weekends, after hours. You got someone to touch to guide you.
You brought up a very good thing, too. In the event that you get in an accident, somebody hits you, sideswipes you, whatever the case may be, before you actually put in a claim or whatever, they can talk to you. They can call you and say, you know, I really don't know what to do. I mean, I hate to say it. This is going to sound terrible, but sometimes I think insurance is great as long as you don't use it. You know what I mean?
That's right. You don't have that many get out of jail free cards because you have multiple claims. The carriers, I don't care what carrier it is, they pull the trigger and want to non-renew you. Now that information follows you to the next carrier. It's not going to help you in premium. So we're trying to be proactive on the front end. We don't want you wasting that bullet, if you will.
And you'll advise individuals also on policies in the event that they have, say for instance, an automobile policy. It's probably a good idea to get your homeowners or your renters with the same company?
Yeah, you want to combine them. That's one of your largest discounts. And even to have a piece here and a piece there doesn't do you any good. You want to make sure you're well-rounded. We can see both sides of the coverage, so if you have a loss here or there, there's no holes in coverage.
Yeah, there's one of the 3 TV commercials you'll see all the time, particularly the one that has a little guy walking around. They'll write your home with your auto, but it goes to one of 4 other companies, and they give you a 5% discount for having that. Great. Ours is somewhere around 25% in the discount when you bundle. So those folks that have that type of company, maybe they're not getting their maximum discounts, let alone coverages.
Great talking to a school teacher because he breaks it down for me. Former school teacher breaks it down for me. All right, Bobby, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us today. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Bob White Insurance by calling 716-836-2222 or go to bobwhiteinsurance.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Bob White Insurance, and an invitation to join me weekday morning 7 to 9 a.m. with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Big WECK Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigweck.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chile. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big WECK, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big WECK Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.